Real reason King Charles wants Prince Andrew out of Royal Lodge. Welcome back, Royal Watchers, to Crown Chronicles, your home for the most exclusive insights, hidden truths, and untold stories from behind the palace gates. Crown, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss a royal revelation that the tabloids only scratched the surface of. Today's story is one that's been rumbling beneath the royal calm for months, and it's about to reach boiling point. This is the real reason King Charles wants his brother, Prince Andrew, out of Royal Lodge, and why this isn't just about money or property, but about power, image, and survival inside the House of Windsor. At first glance, it might seem like another royal squabble over estate boundaries and renovation costs. But sources close to the palace are hinting that King Charles's patience with Andrew has reached its absolute limit, and that the monarch's push to evict his brother is about much more than just real estate. Royal Lodge, Andrew's 30-room mansion in Windsor Great Park, has been his sanctuary, his fortress, since his scandal forced him into the shadows. And now, Charles reportedly wants him out. Permanently. To understand this move, we have to rewind. Royal Lodge isn't just a home, it's a symbol of privilege and royal hierarchy. Built in the 17th century and steeped in royal history, it once served as the residence of the Queen Mother herself. When Queen Elizabeth II granted Andrew the lease decades ago, it was more than a gift, it was a statement of trust, a mother's way of ensuring her favorite son would always have a place within the family fold. But times have changed, and so has the monarchy. Since ascending the throne, King Charles has been on a mission to slim down the monarchy, cutting costs, modernizing the royal image, and distancing the crown from anything that might drag its reputation into scandal. Unfortunately for Andrew, he's become the biggest liability in that mission. Ever since his disastrous BBC interview and his association with Jeffrey Epstein, Andrew has been frozen out of royal life, stripped of his patronages, public duties, and HRH status. Yet, despite all of that, he's remained in the sprawling Royal Lodge, a privilege that has increasingly angered Charles and even Prince William. Inside sources suggest Charles believes it sends the wrong message for his disgraced brother to continue living in one of the crown's most prestigious residences. The optics are terrible, one insider reportedly said. At a time when Charles is trying to prove that the monarchy is leaner, more transparent, and more in touch with ordinary people, having Andrew in a 30-room mansion looks tone-deaf. But it's not just about public perception. Royal finances are at play too. Royal Lodge requires constant maintenance, estimated to cost hundreds of thousands of pounds annually. And Andrew, without royal duties or official income, is said to be struggling to keep up with the financial obligations tied to his lease. With the late Queen no longer there to shield him, the burden of protecting, or enabling, him now falls squarely on King Charles's shoulders. And Charles, for all his compassion, is also a practical ruler. That's why, earlier this year, Charles reportedly offered Andrew the smaller Frogmore Cottage, the former home of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. It was meant to be a dignified downgrade, a quieter residence with fewer costs, allowing Andrew to maintain privacy while removing him from the symbolic grandeur of Royal Lodge. But Andrew refused. He reportedly told friends he would see out his lease, which runs for decades, and that he had no intention of being pushed out. Behind the scenes, this has reportedly caused tension not only between the brothers but within the wider royal household. Queen Camilla is said to have urged her husband to deal with it once and for all, frustrated that Andrew's situation continues to dominate headlines and cast a shadow over Charles's reign. Even Prince William, who is expected to eventually inherit Royal Lodge as part of the Duchy of Cornwall's estate, is believed to be eager to see the matter resolved. For William, Andrew's presence at Royal Lodge is more than awkward, it's a lingering reminder of the monarchy's most damaging scandal. But here's where things take a more personal turn. While the headlines paint Charles as the firm, no-nonsense monarch drawing a line in the sand, insiders whisper that this decision has weighed heavily on him emotionally. Despite everything, Charles still sees Andrew as his brother, a man he grew up with, laughed with, and shared family milestones with. Their bond, once strong, has been severely tested. Palace sources describe Charles as torn, reportedly confiding in close aides that the situation with Andrew has caused him sleepless nights. In fact, some insiders suggest that the ongoing tension surrounding Andrew is taking a toll on the king's health and peace of mind. "It's the last thing he needs," one friend reportedly said. "He's already juggling the weight of the crown, his public image, and his own health, and then there's Andrew, constantly stirring stress. It's exhausting." And there's another factor that makes this situation even more complicated: the memory of their mother, Queen Elizabeth II. The late Queen was deeply protective of Andrew, even in her final years. She reportedly made Charles promise to look after him, not to exile him completely from the royal fold. For Charles, trying to balance that maternal promise with his duty to the crown has been one of the most difficult dilemmas of his reign. Removing Andrew from Royal Lodge feels, to some, like a betrayal of his mother's wishes. Yet keeping him there risks the reputation of the entire monarchy. As one royal observer put it, this isn't just about property, it's about loyalty versus duty. It's Charles as a brother versus Charles as a king. And then, there's the question of what Andrew would do next if forced out. He's reportedly refusing to leave quietly, telling friends he'll fight any attempt to remove him. The Duke still clings to the belief that he could one day return to public life, a dream that seems more unrealistic by the day, but one he refuses to let go of. Some insiders even suggest he's quietly rebuilding alliances, hoping that with time, the public might forgive and forget. But Charles knows better than anyone that public opinion rarely forgets, especially in the age of social media. So, what happens next? For now, the standoff continues. Charles is reportedly giving Andrew time to reflect, though palace insiders say the king's patience is wearing thin. If Andrew continues to resist, Charles could take more formal steps, possibly revoking his lease or reallocating Royal Lodge as part of the crown estate. But doing so would risk a family rift that could play out very publicly. For Charles, who has spent his first years as king trying to unify his family and stabilize the monarchy after the turbulence of Harry and Meghan's exit. This situation is a nightmare. Every decision he makes regarding Andrew is a delicate balancing act, between compassion and responsibility, between private emotion and public expectation, and as much as the king may want to move forward, the ghost of his brother's scandal continues to haunt him. Every headline about Andrew pulls the monarchy back into the past, the very past Charles is desperate to move beyond. In many ways, getting Andrew out of Royal Lodge isn't just about a house. It's about cleansing the institution, a symbolic act of renewal, even if it means sacrificing family peace. Still, deep down, one can't help but wonder, when Charles looks at Royal Lodge. Does he see an estate, or a painful reminder of a promise he wishes he never had to keep? This is Crown Chronicles, where we uncover the real stories behind royal headlines, not just what the public sees, but what truly happens behind palace walls. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the drama, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and tap the notification bell so you never miss the truth behind the crown. Crown, because in the royal world, nothing is ever just what it seems, and every story has another layer waiting to be revealed.